I was announcing. Yeah, I was announcing we were doing like a live stream for the game and for the tournament.
If it's not too much, whatever you feel comfortable with, take us back to what you were doing in the moments before the gunshots.
Before the gunshots, the game just started. So we were just, I think it may have been like 2 minutes into the game, and we were just talking about, I think someone just scored, and we were just talking about that, and that was just right before the shooting started, and then the shooting started, shortly after.
Were you kind of in the zone? Did it take you a while to kind of realize what was happening, or what?
Yes, the first shot. The first shot. It was like a brief pause after the first shot, brief, and I thought it was like technical difficulties, lights lighting around. I think maybe a bulb popped or a fuse blew. It was like a crack sound. So that's what I thought at first, and then shortly after the second shot rang, that's when I knew that it was a gun and someone was shooting. So my attention was drawn straight to the shooter, and he was pointing inside the room from where he came in. It was a walkway and an entrance. So it was pretty much one entrance in, and it was one entrance out, and it was like a side door. But he came through the entranceway, and all I could see from where I was where I was sitting was the gun in his arm and his hand come through. And I could see him shooting because he let the first shot off and I didn't know. Then the second shot, that's when I saw him. And I could see the gun, and I could see the laser pointing into the room, shooting the young man. He shot the young man in his neck, I believe, first, but then he ended up shooting him in his head. And that's when I saw the shooter, and maybe like a third or fourth shot is when I dropped down and pushed the table over and kind of used the table as kind of like a shield. And I didn't know, at that point, quickly, I didn't know if I was just gonna play dead and just not move, but then I was like, no. So I just laid there and I kind of used it as a shield, and I kept peeking out just to see what the shooter was doing because I didn't know if he was gonna stop shooting, reload, walk the room. I didn't know. But I wanted to see. So I'm kind of like just laying there using the table as a shield, trying to stay low and just watching. And he let off pretty much the whole clip, maybe about 12 to 13 shots. And yeah, so.
I can't even imagine just hearing about that.
Yeah.
It's terrifying.
Yeah.
How did you feel being in there, kind of seeing what you saw and then trying to process what do I do?
I don't know. I do not know. I could just talk about the event and then what events would happen, but I really don't know. But I had a young man sitting next to me. He actually was a tournament participant. He's a young guy, nice guy, Cole, and he was sitting right here, right next to me. And when the shots started, I flipped the table and I got low. So I'm not quite sure exactly what he did at that time, but I'm assuming the shots were in front of us and they were shooting in this way. So I'm assuming he kind of leaned out that way and kind of tried to run or something, because that's really much, that's me guessing what happened in the commotion, because he got shot in the chest twice and this was the guy sitting next to me. So it's just, I feel blessed, just to be here, and just thankful, that I'm here. I have a daughter, I have two daughters, I have a wife. I'm just, I couldn't imagine not being there for them. So, yeah.
I think it's hard for us to process, because I was trying to think about it. I don't know about that world. I don't know about gaming and tournaments and just that kind of thing. And people are like, is it normal for y'all to have security? Is it normal? Just like, it seems like from the short video that we saw, people just hanging out, playing the game, having a good time. What is the culture of this kind of community?
It's exactly that, hanging out, having a good time, playing a game. But there's always been security. There might be different organizers that, run the different tournaments, but for the majority, and I've been around been around for a while. So, you know, I don't play competitively anymore, but I still, you know, I've been around, and it's always been security. So this was just, you know, one of the times where I guess the organizers, they just didn't have it, and they just weren't expecting, you know what I mean? They weren't expecting probably, nobody's expecting that. And then in this area, they probably did just weren't equipped for that. But it's always been security. It's always been door checks. You know, it's been tournaments. You come in, you get checked at the door. You go out, you come back in, you get checked. So it's always it's not something new. It's just something that these organizers just didn't come prepared for.
Mm-hmm. How do you feel? I mean, what would you say about just the community? You said specifically with Madden, but we can talk about that. But how is this impacting the Madden community?
They're taking it pretty hard, you know, because, I mean, I told you I used to play, so for myself, I'll speak for myself, it's like a double whammy, because, you know, I was one of those kids, you know, I was 21, 22, I was one of those kids playing competitively, traveling around the country, playing all over. I was one of those kids, and then, so my heart goes out to them from being able to relate. But then on the other half, at this point in my life, I have a 19-year-old, you know what I mean? So, and the kids that got shot were a little over 20, 21, 23, 24, basically almost my child's age. So now, you know, just the feelings of a parent, you know, looking at, they're right in front of me. I watched the boy get shot in his neck, get shot in his head, blood right under him, stooped over, lifeless, and brains on the floor. You know what I mean? So, and I watch people run and terrified. After the shooting, maybe the shooting lasted about 40 seconds. So after the shooting, after it stopped, people just rushed out, just rushed the door and just hurried out. And I kind of like just took my time, because I seen people like, you know, hurt, and I didn't think it was still too much of a threat. So, you know, I see kids, I see, you know, I mean, people that, excuse me, I see people that I know, and, you know, so I'm not running off. I'm checking everybody out, and a couple people had just small wounds. One of my friends got grazed to the neck, and one of the friends got shot in his lower back. And, you know, so I'm just there trying to talk them through it, waiting for the police to come. As we worked our way out, the second individual that was killed, I saw him laying face down, and it was before the police got there. It was people still just moving in and out, but it was not too many people there. It was actually, I don't know the gentleman, but he said to me he was an off-duty fireman. And he was like, you know, we were trying to check the guy out that was face down, you know, to see if he was hurt or whatever. So we turned him over. We both helped each other turn him over, checking for where he was shot. I couldn't really tell in that moment, and he wasn't moving. His eyes was like closed, and but I could see his throat moving just small, and I could see like just moving a little bit. So I'm like, yo, he's still alive. He's still alive, and at that point, that's when the police came in and they started ushering us away from the scene, and but he passed. So I'm like, you know, I watched the kid, you know, kids that I you know interview and kids that I see, I watch, you know, him brains on the floor. You know what I mean? I watched the kid, a father. I watched the father. Kid as well, you know what I mean, father, husband, take his last breath. Yeah. So.
How do you think you move forward? Because I know it hurts the community. I know it does. You talk about as a parent, as a player, other parents who are like, my kids are here. Like, how do you think you move forward?
I think you live life. And you grow from everything, or you don't live. So, You know, I'm almost 40 years old. Like, I've learned through life that you have to go on and you have to grow. And no matter how hard it may be, somehow use it as fuel to go on. And, you know, that's why I took the interviews today, and that's why I met with you and, you know, several other people, is because, you know, I just wanted people to understand the kids that were lost yesterday, the men that were lost yesterday, understand that the brotherhood that they were a part of, for their family members to understand that their son or their brother or their father didn't die alone. They died in the midst of family. Also, just to let them know, they died. It was very tragic and unfortunate, but they died, you know, their last moments on earth and last moments alive. They died doing something that they love. So I just wanted to get that across, and maybe that offers some sort of comfort. I mean, if it's just a fraction of comfort, you know, I just wanted to get that across, and just wanted people to know that, you know, I mean, it was a community, you know what I mean, and just the actions of one person doesn't destroy a community. It should bring us together, and it should allow us to see people for who they are and try to understand where people are coming from. Because, I mean, it was a terrible act, but the kid and the shooter that did it, like, he's lost. He was lost. You know what I mean? He was, you know, he needed somebody. So, you know, maybe people can look and say, you know, look at this situation and just understand and just see that and know that maybe I can change that, or maybe I can do something around me that's going to, you know, stop the next bad situation. You know what I mean? And we're not getting, we're not numb as a community, as a country. We're not numb to mass shootings. You know what I mean? We're not numb. Oh, that just happened. Oh, it's not a big deal. It's a very big deal, and we can make a difference. You can make a difference with just your neighbors. You can make a difference with your friends. You can make a difference with somebody that you never talk to. Just reach out.
Thank you. Is there anything else that you wanted to share that maybe I didn't ask you about?
Nah, I think that was my point I wanted to get across. But yeah.
Kumasi Aaron,
It seems like it really is a strong community.
It's a great guys. I mean, I played for a while, but Rico and I have been friends for maybe 15, 16 years, and we've met through Madden. You know what I mean? And we still, you know, 16 years later, we network, we communicate, we, you know, different business things. Like, it's still, you know, it's still there through a video game. So, you know, so it grows, and it's very strong. So.
Yeah, I can tell just people posting things on Twitter, just checking on each other, and just like, it seems like it is such a like community of people. You feel like people know each other just from going to the different tournaments.
Yeah, and I mean, it's like, I'm hoping that, you know, people see this and they see the camaraderie, but they also see the unity and the fact that you got kids coming from all over the country. You got white kids, Asian kids, black kids coming from everywhere. You got grown men, you know, coming from everywhere around the country, and none of it matters. You know, there's no division, there's no separation. When you're playing a game, you're playing a game. You're competitive. You know, you're talking, you're connecting. So it may sound small, but a video game did draw that together and did create that. So, and if a video game can do that, people can do that, and societies can do that, and environment, and you know. So that's my main voice that I just wanted to get across, and that's my main focus of even taking any interviews today. So.
Definitely. Thank you for sharing.